This is Nick Pavlidis, and I like to hug my father, mother, and sister. Woo-hoo!
Welcome to 5 Minutes with Dad, starring Pavlos and Angela Pavlidis, where you get to spend a few minutes with the smartest and coolest kids in the whole world, and their dad, too. And now, here are your hosts, Pavlos, Angela, and Nick Pavlidis.
Hey everybody, this is Nick Pavlidis, and thank you so much for being here for another episode of 5 Minutes with Dad. This is the podcast where you get to listen in on a little father-son or daddy-daughter time with me, my 7-year-old son Pavlos, or my 4-year-old daughter Angela. Before I play today's episode, I want to do some thank yous and then the resource of the week. Thanks again to everybody who's rated, reviewed us in iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you listen to us. We really appreciate it. Every week, I want to highlight at least 1-2 people who have reviewed us. This week, I want to say thank you to Shell McQuaid, Rockin' Real Estate Rebel, and Junic19 for the awesome 5-star ratings and reviews. I review them all with the kids. They love seeing all those gold stars, and they get really excited, and it helps us reach other parents to help encourage, equip them to spend some more time with their kids. All right, so thank you so much for doing that. Okay, the resource of the week this week is a book. It's a book that the kids took out from the library. They really, really liked the book. And what's interesting about it, or there are two things that are interesting about it. One, substantively, is pretty cool. It's called If a Chicken Stayed for Supper. And it's about a book where there are a bunch of foxes who Mama Fox promises her little foxes that they're going to eat chicken for supper tonight. So they all wander off, and one of them gets lost, and they only count 4 foxes remaining. They get all nervous and crying, but then a friendly chicken reassures the little foxes and walks them home. Mommy Fox eyes Mother Hen hungrily, but then reconsiders and invites her to share vegetable soup to eat. So it's a story about foxes and chickens who were at odds, but then became friends through acts of kindness. So it's a really cool book. And if you want to pick up a copy for your kids, you can go to 5minuteswithdad.com/supper. That's our affiliate link to bring you over to Amazon and pick it up. And if you head on over there, I don't know how many copies they have, but there is at least 1 copy on Amazon for 1 penny plus shipping. So it's a really, really cheap book. You can get it for new or used. They got them for $1, $2, $5. Or you could just head on to the library and pick up a copy for yourself. All right. Enjoy the show.
This is Angela. Wait, I forgot.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Who's ready for our awesome episode of 5 Minutes with Dad?
Me!
What do you want to talk about?
I have something really awesome to talk about today. Are you ready?
Yes.
I would like to talk about where we learn things.
At school.
You do learn things at school, but did you know that school's only one place to learn?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. We talk a lot about...
And we can talk about everything as we need to learn about, not bad stuff and not yucky stuff.
Right, we learn about nice stuff, right?
And yes, and you can eat chocolate once a day.
Where does that come from, eat chocolate once a day? Angela's teacher teaches you about eating things in...
Drinking things.
Yes, and if you're going to have snacks, to have it in moderation, right?
Yes. And can I tell you something, Dad?
Yes, you can.
And sometimes she put drinks in some cups, and then we try to drink it and tell what it is.
Oh, really? She puts different drinks in the cups, and you just use your senses, your sense of taste, to think what it is?
Yes.
That's awesome.
And I drank chocolate milk.
You did? Was it yummy?
Yeah. And it liked hot chocolate.
Yeah, it tastes just like hot chocolate, but cold, huh?
Yeah, but maybe she cooked it.
Maybe. So yes, we learn a lot in school, but we also learn a lot at home. We learn a lot when we go for walks. We learn a lot. Yeah, we learn a lot in a bunch of other places. Books, right? Where else do you learn?
Library.
Yeah, we go to the library. We even watch some shows that teach us things, right?
Yes. It was my ostrich who said it.
Yes, Angela's baby ostrich just said that. And we also learn by listening to podcasts, right?
Yes.
And we learn what's one fun thing that you learned that you didn't learn in school, but you learned somewhere else?
Ostrich doing right.
Your ostrich can talk.
Oh, me? I like going at school, and my ostrich likes going to see Wine Pete.
Yes, Angela has a friend. Oh, hang on one second. All right, we're back. We just had Pavlos pop his head in, but now it's back to just Ange and me, and we're talking about where we learn things because it's important to learn a lot in school, but it's also really fun to learn things at home, at the library. And one time, do you remember we went into Boston, Angela?
Yeah.
And you and Daddy and Pavlos went for a walk while Mommy waited in line to get some snacks?
Yeah. And Pavlos loved his snacks so bad that he almost ate all of them.
Yes, Pavlos likes his snacks. And so do you, don't you?
Yeah, but not like humans or pound stuff that they like. But we really don't eat hot sauce.
Yes, you like snacks, you like kid snacks, and you don't like hot sauce, right?
Yeah, and we don't like stuff that's not good for us.
Right. You don't like unhealthy stuff, but I think you like some unhealthy stuff, right? You eat some snacks that are just a little bit, right? And your teacher says what?
You can eat a little of snacks at one day.
Yes.
Not at a lot of days.
Right. So, and then we went into Boston, and when we went for a walk, do you remember whose statue we saw?
Paul Revere's.
Yes, we saw Paul Revere's statue, and then we went and even visited his house, huh?
Yes, and we go in his house to see all the pots, and he has a few bedrooms. He has a lot of kids. Could you tell him how much kids he has?
Yes, we went in there, and we saw lots of pots and pans. Oh, Ange has to cough. We're going to pause it for 1 second. All right, we're back. Angie coughed, and then the air conditioning kicked on, so we shut the air conditioning off just for 1 minute so we can finish up our show, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So we learned, and Angela was just asking me, went to Paul Revere's house. They had lots of old pots and pans from his era, and it was the house he lived in Boston when he was I don't know how old, but it was when he was 18.
Yeah.
Oh, good memory. And Angela asked me to tell everyone how many kids he had, and Paul Revere had 16 kids.
And that's a lot, too.
That's a real lot. Imagine if you had 16 kids, even if you had one a year, there'd be one kid who could drive to pick up the new kid from the hospital.
Yes. If it's 10 or 11 or 12 or 13.
Yeah, if there's 10, 11, 12, or 13, and if they're not every year, if they were born every couple of years, then my goodness, you'd have people who are adults and people who are babies, and they'd be brother and sister. How funny would that be?
Funny as a kid.
Yes, you couldn't have said anything more perfect right then, Ange. Well, yes, so Paul Revere, we learned a lot about Paul Revere. We saw his house, we saw bedrooms in his house, we saw some of the chairs that Paul Revere actually had, and then we learned that he rode a horse, and the horse was whose?
A different man's.
Yes, the horse wasn't his. We learned that. It was someone else's, and he asked to use it. And it wasn't even the person who let him use it. It wasn't even his horse, was it?
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah, we borrowed someone's horse, and that guy had borrowed the horse from another guy. And then the British kept the horse, huh?
Yes. And do you know what?
What?
We didn't see a lot of kids' rooms, but there was a lot of kids' rooms at Paul Revere's house, and Daddy lived at Paul Revere's country.
Yes. Angie's saying that there weren't a lot of rooms that they let you in. They let you in 4 rooms in Paul Revere's house. I don't know how many. I bet you the kids shared rooms back then. But Daddy used to live right down the street from Paul Revere's house, right in his neighborhood, right?
Yeah. My daddy.
Yes. So I think this episode was awesome because it is so important that we learn and that we're having fun. And it's also important that we learn and have fun not only in school, but we learn at home. We learn at the library. We learn just by sitting here doing shows and talking to each other. And we learn by doing things. We get out of the house. If you want to learn about
And if there's fire, you get out of the house quick. But if it's on the roof, you crawl.
Yes.
Down here, you jump.
And you really learn a lot of stuff, huh?
Yeah, in school, in my old school.
Yes. All right. So
When I was regular boy.
yes. All right. So everybody, tell everybody one thing they can do to go learn something this day outside of school.
In library, you can read.
Yes, everybody, go to the library and grab a book and learn something new and share it with us. You can send us an email, nick@5minuteswithdad.com, or go to Twitter and tweet it out and tell us one thing you learned that was not from school, one thing you learned outside with your family, or one thing you learned at home, or one thing you learned by doing stuff, or at the library. All right, Ange, tell everybody, thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening 5 Minutes with Dad.
So there you have it. Another episode of 5 Minutes with Dad in the books. Thanks again to everyone who's rated, reviewed us in iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you listen to us. And don't forget to check out If a Chicken Stayed for Supper, the book at aterriblehusband.com/supper. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to 5 Minutes with Dad. To connect with Pavlos, Angela, and Nick, subscribe to the 5 Minutes with Dad newsletter at 5minuteswithdad.com.